Today, we had Friday Night Smackdown, and it was early. But was it any good? Let's find out. Before we talk about it, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications. We're trying to post every day here, so come and join us. Don't you want to say you were here first? Now, let's talk wrestling. The show kicks off, and hey, we're in Australia. And it turns out that Crown Jewel title, still ugly. They sure showed us that title multiple times. Also, did you know that wrestling has more than one royal family? Adrenaline! Cody Rhodes comes out, right? Hey, Perth, Australia. What do you want to talk about? Then he starts talking about Seth Rollins, of course, right? That's the match that's happening at Crown Jewel. Starts talking about Seth Rollins, about how the whole quarterback thing, QB1 thing, can apply to anyone, whoever is on top at any given point. It could even apply to Seth. It doesn't right now. It 100% applies to Cody Rhodes. But he talks about how it could apply to Seth, and he mentions the 3-0 record. I love this crowd, by the way. This crowd was awesome. They were hanging on every word, right? Cody Rhodes start mentioning names of people that could be Q1, and then, of course, they cheer when they have to because they're doing their job. They then eventually start calling Seth Rollins names. They start calling him names. They call him a wank. It's really fun because Cody Rhodes throws the microphone to Michael Cole, and he's like, "Hey, Michael, what are they saying?" And it's really funny because Michael actually doesn't know what they're saying. So he's like, "I actually don't know." And Wade's like, "I'll tell him, Michael." And Wade Barrett, he's like, "Cody, I believe they're calling Seth Rollins." Oh, now I don't know if YouTube is going to let me say that word, so it's going to be cut out. But you know what they said? They 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 said the word that Europeans and Australians love to use, and I think we should use it more. But yeah, no, this was a really cool promo cut by Cody, of course, just like always. I think that Seth Rollins is gonna win that match, mostly because we need them to be heels that matter. And if Seth Rollins lose, kind of no one cares, right? Especially because Bronson Reed has already lost, right? Like Braun Breaker hasn't really had a singles match in a while, and Seth Rollins losing, that just can't happen. So fun promo though. Excited for Crown Jewel. Next, will Tiffy and Stephanie coexist? Spoiler alert. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they had their match. They won. They beat Julia and Kiana James, which makes no sense to me because Kiana James is the U.S. champion who doesn't defend her title. So she needs wins, WWE. WWE, she needs wins. You could have easily told the story of Tiffy and Stephanie losing because they're not friends, they're opponents this weekend, and they've never worked together. This is their first time working together, so of course they're going to lose to these two competitors that are an established team. One of them's the US champion, the other one is kind of her advocate. You could have told that story, but you didn't. And Julia loses again. And what are we doing with the US championship? Of course, Tiffany and Stephanie were great in ring. Like they're just really good in the ring, and they're really fun to watch. And it's gonna be a fun match, but I don't know what you were doing with this. You could have even built that match better if they lost, right? And they could have blamed each other, and it could have been a whole thing. But you didn't. So here we are. We then get a face-to-face between Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu in the back. Yeah, give me that. I want to see that match. Jacob Fatu basically called dibs on Cody Rhodes too, by the way. He's like, after Crown Jewel, after you're done with Seth, I got next. And I want him to get next. Jacob Fatu should absolutely have a match against Cody Rhodes for the championship, for the Undisputed Championship. And I think Jacob should win. He's not, but I think he should. Yeah, give it to us, WWE. Give it to us now. Then Nick Aldis like kind of tells Jacob like, "Hey, come and see me in the back." And then I don't remember if it's a this segment or a later segment. Drew McIntyre attacks Jacob Fatu. They have a whole thing. Nick Aldis is like, next week on SmackDown, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Next week on SmackDown, you guys are going to have a match. So they're having a match next week on SmackDown. It's going to be fun. I don't think either of these guys can lose, so I don't know what they're going to do. It's probably going to end in shenanigans. Honestly, I'd book this into a triple threat match for the Undisputed Championship. Both of these guys want it. Why not? It would be a great way to get it off of Cody without pinning Cody. So we'll see. The U.S. title open challenge. Sami Zayn comes out and he's like, who wants it? Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. Now, WWE. We haven't seen Shinsuke in a while. Can you tell us why we haven't seen him in a while, please? He's just showed up on our screen and now we don't know if he's a babyface or a heel, although considering what happened at the end of the match, I think he's a babyface. But can you at least try to explain why he's been gone for a while? Because there's zero explanation. Match was fun. Match was fun. It ended in a disqualification because Shinsuke was attacked by Tama Tonga. He was attacked by Tama Tonga. You couldn't really tell it was Tama Tonga either because he was wearing a hood and he had like white face paint. I thought it was Danhausen. That's who I thought it was when I saw him. I was like, oh my God, it's Danhausen. It's WWE. And then I was disappointed when it was Tama Tonga in white face paint. And they kept saying it was war paint. I mean, maybe, but I thought it was Danhausen and I was more excited. But it wasn't. Because Tama Tonga and the MFTs, and they're all wearing face paint now. They're all spooky and tough, I think. That's fun. I don't know. It wasn't the only time we saw them tonight either. I want these guys to be big bads, and I want them to be intimidating. Something just isn't working. So hopefully this is how they get it through. But they interrupted the U.S. Championship match probably because Solo wants a shot at it. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. It needs it. Make it work. Just, please make it work. I want this team to work. It just doesn't work. We then get Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss confronting Sol Ruca and Zarya. And I want this match. And I kind of want Charlotte and Alexa to lose. And just put it on Sol Ruca and Zarya. And put them on the main roster, WWE. Like, these girls are awesome. And I think they're ready. And why not? Like, let's give them a shot. Let's give them a shot. It would have been cool if you made this match PLE worthy, right? Like if you built this match to be PLE worthy, but it's probably just going to be on NXT. And what are we doing? I want to see this match though, so why not? Let's give it to them. We then get the match for the tag team championships between the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis. And this match was fun, right? They're always really fun to watch. There was a moment outside of the ring where B-Fab and Nikki Cross kind of go at it, and I want to see that match. Like, I want Nikki Cross in the ring. She's kind of just a mascot right now, and I want her to be an in-ring competitor. Let's see what this Nikki Cross can do in the ring. And why not? Let's have her and B-Fab go at it. Now, WWE, please don't make this be a Grayson Waller, Austin Theory situation where you're teasing their breakup and then they never break up and then they break up off screen. I really wanted this match to take a huge step forward in the breakup story between the Street Profits, but it kind of wasn't, right? Like, I wanted them to like maybe push each other after the match and just like blame each other for losing. But honestly, they worked really well together, and the only reason they lost was because the Wyatt Six worked better together, right? And then there was like the end of the match was Montez Ford was going on a frog was going to do his frog splash on Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis pulls him out of the ring, right? And then they set up like their finishing move thing, and they win. Which fine, cool, yeah, no, I love you guys know I love the Wyatt Six, but I feel like this match should have pushed that breakup a little bit more because I feel like it's telling a story that's never going to pay off now. That's how I feel. But after the match, there's another story that may never pay off. They were interrupted by, as you know, the Wyatt Six pose like they do. They were interrupted by the MFTs again, which is I've been advocating for the MFTs to be the War Games match, and this kind of shows that it's leading in that direction. I don't know if it's actually going to be that, but I would love it if it was like the Wyatts versus the MFTs. Now, the Wyatts only have 4 male members, so it might not be that. Although 4-on-4, I'm game for 4-on-4 in a War Games match. So we'll see what happens. I like it if this is a feud, right? It's kind of heel versus heel because the Wyatts are technically heels. You guys know I love the Wyatt Six. Yeah. Give me the Wyatt Six. Give me the MFTs. Let's build both of them. Let's see what happens. I'm excited. Again, I love this crowd. The entire time Solo was on screen, and he was on screen a few times tonight. F you Solo chants all the way. F you Solo all the time. The whole time. So poor Solo can't catch a break. I like Solo Sikoa, so I hope that this can help build him up and his group, but based on tonight's crowd, I don't know. We then get a backstage interview between The Miz and one of the WWE reporters whose names I can never remember. But they're interviewing The Miz, and The Miz talks about Mello, and he talks about how he didn't backstab Mello, right? Like Mello just couldn't rise to the occasion, and blah blah blah. And honestly, the only reason I'm talking about this is to wish The Miz a happy birthday. The Miz doesn't get enough credit, and he mentioned that it was his birthday today. So you know what, Miz? Happy birthday, man. You are greatly unappreciated, and I hope you have a great one. So, Miz versus Mello at some point. It's main event time between Damian Priest and Aleister Black, and this match was a lot of fun. A lot of carnage, a lot of weapons. Wade Barrett had what I think he's probably referencing the movie that Regulators references it. He's probably referencing the movie that Regulators references, but for me, it will always be a Regulators line because Wade Barrett goes, "You got to be handy with a steel if you know what I mean. Earn your keep." And for me, that makes me go, "Regulators, round up." If you know, you know. Anyway, great match. They went. What was it called? The last man standing match. So they got to count to 10, right? And Damian Priest had this one. He had Aleister Black on top of something. He was about to do his end of heaven or whatever it's called off of the thing. And then who pops up to do the save? It is none other than Santi Zap's favorite Z wrestler, Zelina Vega. So Zelina Vega pops out. She kind of begs Damian Priest not to do it. Damian falls for it. And Aleister Black turns around and does a thing and throws him off the thing and counts to 10. And Aleister Black wins the match. And at the end, him and Zelina are just kind of standing there, which Sammy and Zelina's heel now, because, okay, I want that. I want that. And I like that she's with her husband and they have a whole thing going on. So I was happy for that. I'm excited to see where this thing goes. And I think pairing them up is a good idea. So I like this match. I hope this means that this feud is over. And I hope that this means we can give Aleister and maybe Zelina a push at the end of all this. So thumbs up all around. So yeah, it was a fun SmackDown tonight. I really enjoyed it. It was a quick watch. It was early in the day, so it was also kind of fun to have wrestling in the middle of the day. And yeah, thumbs up all around. I enjoyed tonight's episode. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. Excited for tomorrow's Crown Jewel. I hope there's some surprises on board. If you haven't seen my last video, there's 3 things that need to happen in order for this to be a good PLE. So check that out. Since you made it this far, though, make sure to drop a like. Let me know in the comments what you think. Am I wrong? Was today's SmackDown terrible? I feel like I'm often wrong, but you know what? I enjoyed it, so I don't care. Anyway, drop a like again. Thank you guys so much for being here. And as always, peace.